Thanks everyone for joining me for another episode on the Travel Collective. Today I'm having a conversation with Naveen, who I met in Munich. I actually hired him to be my guide to show me the city. I use the site City Unscripted. It's pretty much my first time using that site, but you have different activities. You can choose different types of experiences. So if you're going to a city and it's a new place for you, it's a great way to connect with a local, someone that loves their city, and pick an activity that you love, whether it's history or food or whatever it might be. And it's a great way to get off a big bus, get out. For me it was exploring on foot and starting in the night. So welcome, Naveen. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me here. Yeah, for sure.
So how long again have you been living in Munich?
It's been almost 3.5 years. It's going to be 4 years by this November. Corona guy coming in, like family's been here, wife and kids and stuff like that. So life's been pretty mellow, but I like it. Yeah, coming from India, but south of India, it's very different in weather-wise,
Yeah.
climate-wise and stuff. But I'm pretty much I would say I have adapted here now. Learn German. I mean, I speak precisely 6 languages, but I never had any certificate for any language apart from German. That's very funny and interesting for me. Yeah, which I
Yeah.
never thought I would learn. Yeah, anyways, yeah.
Yeah, German, I would think is, I've heard it's kind of, it can be a challenging language to learn, just the pronunciations. And then for you, like juggling the languages in your head, being that you probably learned your native language as a child first.
It's not a very easy thing, I gotta be honest. But somehow I had this knack of learning things in my own way, I would say. Say we could maybe you could put it in a way. It's heuristic. I have a method of education to learn, and it's gonna be only helpful for me, not for I wouldn't recommend it for other people. It worked, and I passed my exams, and I got time during Corona times. Like it was just using the books, references, and my wife helped me along quite a bit. She speaks an excellent German, so it was much more easier. Yeah.
Yes, I think, yeah, just using it, being able to use it in everyday conversation, I think that is what really can cement keeping it current and being able to be fluent in it. So, and I also, like you, it's like of all the cities, for some of the people that have been listening and following me, I visited so many cities at the end of May and June, but Munich to me really stood out. I loved how there's kind of this mix of history, there's spaces to engage in nature, which I love. So, share a little bit about what you love about Munich.
Exactly the same, but I would add a little bit more. It blends in pretty well. I mean, tourists come here for like pretty different reasons. We say in German, verschiedene Reason, like for various reasons. Um, it's got a darker history. It's got a beautiful history over the 1400 years, 1600 to be fairly saying, and it's got blended very well, and it's a melting point of Southern Europe. We got almost all the surrounding countries from the southeast of Europe joining in from the Balkan states, and it's surrounded by the Alps. So it's got temperate wise, it's getting gradually a bit warmer, but it still maintains, and the architecture is stunning.
Oh, yeah.
And I have to give it to the guys here in Germany. I'm not a German, but over the guys after the war, how they pulled it off to do things to the core and precision engineering, you would say. And it's really amazing. Like comparing to the pictures which you see from the 1940s, like late 40s, in the 70s and 80s, and it's constantly evolving, and periodical maintenance goes right now as we speak every day, and it would keep on moving even tomorrow and years to come. I never seen any city keep constantly building up, and keeping maintaining the infrastructure is a very challenging thing. They could plan a city, they could build it up, but to maintain the infrastructure, you need sufficient amount of funds and fortunately, Bavaria does have it, and let's hope it continues for that way. Yeah.
Yeah. I also like how it's easy for a traveler. There's a lot of modes of transportation. From the airport, you can take the train, there's a bus. You don't have to just rely on taxi or renting a car. The that's something that's unique because in the United States are a lot of cities don't have good infrastructure for shared transportation or even cross country. There's not train lines that crisscross, and I think Germany has a lot of that to offer a traveler.
Yeah, I mean, I crisscross all over Germany, almost all the 16 states. I've been coming to Germany for almost 8 years now, on and off. Um, but Munich, I would say you don't need a car or a private vehicle here if you live in the city, suburban, and the city limits, where the trains reaches or somehow you have connections. If you are very much timing it with the bus timings and trams and underground trains and street trains, it's quite affordable. Now we have even a 49 euro ticket. It's called a Deutschland ticket, which is like you could literally travel with that ticket all through Germany.
Oh,
And
wow.
apart from the ICE trains, which is the express superfast trains, apart from that, you could travel all the regional trains. So you have to change several trains, for example, to leave from here all the way to Hamburg or Berlin, but you could manage it.
Yeah.
It's for a month. That's amazing. For literally for 50 euro, you could travel for a month, and you could even go to Austria, for example, Salzburg with the same ticket, and so it's pretty affordable. Yeah,
Yeah, that's very affordable. That's wonderful. So
yeah,
talk about guiding, because I think we talked about it when we were walking around, that it's something you're passionate about. You love doing your guide, working with travelers. And so talk
yeah.
a little bit about how you got into tour guiding.
I mean, I've been having a tourism business, say, for almost more than it's my third decade with tourism.
Wow.
We've been bringing guests from Germany all the way, say, from Northern Westphalen and to India. I got a German partner, a business partner that we are collaborating to bring guests from Germany to India. But COVID happened and business got crashed. We had to move on, and I got married and kids, so it was very easily like I was doing different jobs. Of course, I used to work with BMW, I mean BMW and stuff. That was not my
Oh,
job, indeed. Like I'm not an automotive guy or an engineer. I would prefer to get in contact with the people because I love people. So I just started off here where I left 4 years ago in India. I just started off in May, to be frank, the first week of May, and now I'm literally like less than 2 months away. But I've been very happy with hosting, and people are pretty happy. Moreover, that's very important. They
yeah.
appreciate what I do, and that encourages me a lot more to do it. And you are my guest as well, so it encourages me to go further. And over a period of time, I believe I would start my own firm, which would so that I could customize a lot more free, not just stick to one city. That I could individually take people to all over Germany and Switzerland, for example, or Europe, because I've traveled a bit in Europe, so I could. That's my target, and eventually, it's taking baby steps now, and let's see.
Yeah, I love that. And I
Thank you.
love talking to other tour guides because it's something I enjoy too. I do it in the United States, and it's just rewarding to take people and show them places that you personally love, and they're new, and seeing their excitement of and joy of discovering. Like, I loved how you, Naveen, took us to little food stands. We didn't have to do a sit down dinner. It was nice just to pick up something if we wanted and keep exploring. And I love that because it seems like Munich has a lot of different flavors. It's not just the traditional foods. So, talk a little bit about how Munich has this, I mean, just a kaleidoscope really of food. It's not just Bavarian food.
I love foods. I eat all sorts of meats and stuff, though I'm a pescatarian now, but I would. It's got Bavarian cuisine is pretty varied from fish, meat, especially a lot of porks and I got pretty obsessed with it, like since the moment I arrived here and first time in Germany. And it's been just going on. And I always eat in small stalls and stuff. Like I can't afford to go always into a nice dining restaurants to the upmarket restaurants once in a week or a month. No, it's not. It happens randomly, and when we go together, like it's mostly like you get a meatloaf and a bread stuffed inside with some mustard sauce or a mackerel fish and stuff. Because you explore a lot and you just have a little bites, some salmons and stuff. It's pretty easy, and so that way it fills up your stomach. It's a good quality as well, and
Yeah.
you don't have to show off by dining in the Michelin star restaurants and stuff like that. It's on par with these restaurants, these food stalls are indeed. And I haven't taken you guys to the Victualian market, which is a food market here, and it's really awesome. Like it's got almost 600 years of history, and varieties of food and varieties of salads, cheese, and souvenirs and vegetables, and unbelievable varieties of infinite varieties of meat products and stuff like that. It's amazing. If you get in there, you could sustain for months and eating every day there, but just need to look into your calories and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I love how Munich and I think a lot of Europe versus the United States, they've really taken a stand to ensure that, the foods are more quality, they're more, that farm to table mentality, small, organic, not all the preservatives, not all the fake colors that are allowed. And I understand people making money, but when food is going into people's bodies, there is some responsibility to know what you're putting in your body. And I really felt the food in Munich was very high quality, and just like you said, even at the little stalls, to me it tasted as good as if I went to the white tablecloth, fine dining, and I didn't have to
Yeah.
do that.
I mean, I recommend guests like recently, like there are some very Michelin star restaurants here. I do recommend them. I've been to several, one of them very occasionally. I don't go even once in a month, maybe once in a year we might go there, and I did recommend. But guests ask, oh, could we have a quick bite? And then I'd say, okay, that's the place. Are you sure? They would say yes. And once they try, wow, that's amazing. I'm like, what's that? So I would say, oh, it's little kids. It's like minced meat of pork. We call it like liver and cheese, and but it's not liver and cheese. It's like a meatloaf, like a cake, and people loving it. Especially, I got almost like 98 to literally 100% of all my guests are from the States now, so it's for them very new, and even some of them wanted to take some meats from Germany. I mean, some fleisch we call it, but it's not practically possible with customs immigration in the States, in almost all the 50 states. Yeah.
Right, exactly. The
Yeah.
other thing I loved about Munich was there's a lot of outdoor spaces. Like you can rent a bike, and the bike paths are nice. You can go down to I think it's called the English Garden, which
It
has.
is. Yeah.
So talk a little bit about the outdoor spaces, because if people have families and they're traveling, those are great places to take kids
It
and
is.
let
It is
them.
like, I mean, if you for I mean, you could literally spend 2 weeks easily in and around Munich and Bavaria. People used to travel for 2 weeks in Europe, but I would say 2 weeks just in Bavaria, and you could even have a week time in Munich. Still, you would be left with plenty more to explore. It's got intense amount of histories to feed for history buffs and architectural and archaeology ways, and for food guys, as well as, of course, we should not forget the beer and Weisswurst, which is the white sausage. It's very Bavarian. And the outdoor areas, like say the English Garden, there are Nymphenburg castles, and the Olympia Stadium area. There are plenty of swimming pools and lakes. We call it
Oh.
See. So many in and around, and you could explore and swim even by the lakes in the summer. And even during, you might have seen a surfers like in the river
Yes.
Isar. It's just in such cold temperatures. It's freezing cold. They do surf against the river tide. It's not like going with the stream. So against, it's not very easy. And we got like thousands of surfers here based in Munich. These are guys who are really hardcore, passionate about. They literally do even at night, 10 in the night and early in the morning.
Oh, they're out there at night too. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
like they even have lights. I sent some pictures to you.
Wow. Oh my
Like
gosh.
they have some lights, private lights they bring over, and they come back from work at late evening, 8, 9 in the evening. They do have a bit of sunlight, and they put the extra lights, and they could continue for a couple more hours. Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
it happens all through the year. That's the thing, including even when we have 2 feet of snow, they still do surf because the currents are very, I mean, light. They are too strong to freeze.
Wow. I didn't even think
So it doesn't
about
have
that.
any.
The winter, the snow is on the side. That's
And I
that's
couldn't do that. I would
hardcore. Yeah,
freeze to.
I couldn't do that.
I would be frozen. That's it.
Yeah, no, I would not be that would not be good. So, um oh, that's just crazy. I'm still thinking about the cold and the surfers because yeah, it is. And you have to be a top-notch surfer. It looked, I mean, that current is strong and it immediately shoots you down the river. I mean, it's moving fast.
I mean, it's not too deep, but it can be very fatal if you hit somewhere on the side with your head. And wearing a helmet is not a cool thing for a surfer. So, and I don't know, like it's always a bit of a. I mean, it's thrilling, but it also has its own kind of risk. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So what are some of your hobbies aside from taking people on guiding and some of the things that you enjoy when you're not working?
I love driving a lot. I'm being in the right country yet. I am yet to have my driving license, which I would have eventually soon. And I like to swim. I mean, I come from a seaside down south of India, so that's my every morning ritual. I do swim a lot, but coming here, I could swim only in the summer on the lakeside or on a nice swimming pool, public swimming pool. We got quite a bit of swimming here. The swimming pools are pretty massive and with lots of garden and privacy space. I do that a lot, and with kids as well, I've been training them.
Oh, good.
And during the winter, we do have indoor swimming pools as well. They are heated, and that's my one hobby. And of course, I love walking, which is very good. And I do read quite a bit. Like my reading habits have been dwindled over the last 20 years, thanks to the internet, which is we are in the moment of flickering everything, including like I mean, I'm not in any social network or stuff like I used to be, but I don't even remember my passwords of what you call the Facebook or Instagram. Not in
Right.
Twitter. Like there are YouTubes I watch some news channels and televisions and stuff like some sports. So I spend like I take some references and stuff, read different things, and I'm an avid film buff, so
Oh,
watch a lot of
nice.
movies
Oh,
and
good.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so what are some local places outside of Munich that you would recommend if someone was trying to plan? Like you said, they're coming to Europe, Germany. Maybe you want a base in Munich. Are there places nearby? Because it's hard for me, being from the United States. My idea of German geography is a little, yeah. So,
I mean, they could do say staying in Munich every day. They can go for a place and come back the evening to their very same hotel. They don't have to shift hotels and stuff. Say they could flew into Munich. It's a very small airport, though. It's like 1.5 hours from city main square. Like roughly, if you take a train, and it's easy transportation is there. You might have known. Like they could go to a lake called Chiemsee,
oh,
which is on the way to Salzburg. Prien Chiemsee. It's got a beautiful island in the lake and a castle there. Of course, you might have heard Bavaria has, I mean, Germany generally has about more than 22,000 castles. All are in pristine mint condition. They've been well maintained.
wow.
Most of them belongs to the kings, and in Bavaria it belongs to the House of Wittelsbach, now to the government, and even private people do want some castles. Somewhere need to be repaired and stuff, but it's a lot, and you could visit so many chapels and cathedrals here. And of course, Bavaria is a part of the Holy Roman Empire, so you've got a lot of Baroque style architecture, including in Munich. You could visit, for example, the Chiemsee, and one day you could go to the new Schwanstein Castle.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, the
That's the
Disney.
famous, yeah, the Disney castle.
Yeah. Um, then you could go to the Eagle's Nest, which is the Berchtesgaden Garden. It's again a popular tourist destination. You could go to even Salzburg, the birthplace of Mozart.
Oh,
I have
yeah.
a couple of Mozart Kugeln, like the Mozart chocolate balls and stuff. You could do it in a day trip. Like you leave early in the morning, it's on a regional train. 2.5 hours you are there, and you
Oh,
could explore for
wow.
another 3 hours. You could come back all together in 6 to 8 hours time. It's pretty easy. And Austria is pretty nearby. Slovakia is nearby, and Lake Constance is a little bit far away, say 3 to 4 hours. Even Basel for Switzerland is like
Oh,
roughly 3 to 4 hours, and
oh,
you
that's
could
not
do
far. Yeah.
it's not far. I mean, with train, I'm not talking about even a car or a taxi. You could do it all on a train, yet you can still come back, visit, like have a lunch there, and explore for a couple of hours. Come back the same evening, and plenty of lakes in and around Tegernsee. It's where the formation of Munich happened. Like you might even had a beer name. Have you had beers here in Germany? No.
I didn't have any this past time. I should have. I have a
Yeah,
friend that's big into German beer, and I like to
yeah.
travel with her because she'll get the dark, thick beers, and then I get to sample.
The big picture, it's very massive, and so many things to explore. Like one day you could just simply visit the Olympia Stadium and the BMW World and the BMW Museum, BMW World and the museum, and just even go to the English Garden. You might literally need 2 days
Oh,
just
yeah.
sunbathing and stream in the river, lowest stream of river Either. Like they have split the Either into multiple small parts, like one for the surfing, one just for the passing through, for people can play, kids can play in the water in river Either.
Oh, nice.
I mean, all you could do in the summer. In winter, there are places to go, like ski resorts like Linkries, which is about 1.5 to 2 hours and stuff down south of Munich. So many options all through the year. That's the specialty about it. Despite being a winter cold area, like surrounded by the Alps, you could do both summer as well as winter. In
Yeah.
between times, like in March, April, you could still explore. We have a thing called Volksfest, which is People's First, and that's a like it's an Oktoberfest, the shortened version of the Oktoberfest,
But
and
it's
that
in the
has
springtime, huh? It's in
springtime.
March. Yeah.
We call it Frühlingsfest as well. Frühling, which literally transliterates Springfest. Frühling is spring, and we could also, I mean, the world's famous Oktoberfest, which is gonna come in September.
I know
Like
that's
they,
coming up. I heard they're already starting to build
yeah,
the tents, I guess is what they're called, or
yeah, they do. The marquees, like the tents, are started already way back in the first week of June, or even I think it was in May they started, like quite a bit, and it's got quite a bit of work to do. Each tent can accommodate up to more than 100,000 people easily.
wow.
Massive, and
That's massive.
yeah, it brings in a lot of revenue for the state and tourism. Hotels are packed, and employment opportunities. This is very good sustainable tourism that happens over years and years. Yeah, we still didn't have the over tourism problem like what they have been complaining as we speak now in Barcelona, for example.
Oh, yeah.
It's still quite okay. They do have ample space, and I personally believe it will sustain this way.
Yeah, I think so too. I think I get the feeling that
As for you,
Munich and
yeah,
Germany, they're like thinking clearly, and I just think, yeah, I don't know. I that's what I really enjoyed about Munich, that even though I was there on a weekend and they had like things going on in the Marienplatz, I think there was some sort of, I think it was the city's birthday. I think that's what was happening, and they had tents and things happening. It's
it must be
still,
Munich 800 years of the birthday. It was 11th, somewhere around
it was June, yeah.
1157. They named officially Munich in the year 1157. So it's been almost 800 years. Yeah,
But I just think the way Munich's kind of set up and spread out, I don't know, I never felt like it was too overcrowded, and it felt very safe for a traveler. It felt very safe.
I would say I would put my hands onto that. Really, like, I mean, my wife lived here for almost 15 years, and I've traveled, as I said, a bit in Europe. Two cities that I would watch for very good. Switzerland, I mean, Zurich would be number one on top with safety, crime rates, literally not much. You wouldn't see people on the streets and stuff like in
Yeah.
Zurich. And number two would be Munich. Germany does have so many bigger cities and smaller cities than Munich, but it's been well organized. Everything is and well controlled, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the way to put it. I don't know. I think the travelers coming to Munich, I don't know if it's kind of the personality of Germany and what kinds of travelers are attracted to Germany, but there's just a lot of it just again, it felt safe. German people as a whole tend to be a little bit more introverted and quiet, and maybe that fosters that. I don't know. I just felt comfortable, but I felt welcomed without feeling like, oh, someone's always trying to have their hand in my pocket or something. You know, like any city, you're going to take precautions. I mean, I live in the United States every day. You know, there's people that want to, the simple things, pickpocket, that kind of thing. But there I never felt, like I was being hustled or, someone wanted to
It
sell
wouldn't
me
happen in
something.
Munich. So far, it wouldn't happen. Some people have skepticism and fear over a lot of migrants and refugees influx happening, but I think Germany, the government, what the government does is like they integrate people.
Yeah.
We've got millions of people coming in from Ukraine and several Islamic countries now, and the first thing they get to do is to learn German. That includes me,
Right.
and I'm not a refugee yet. I came here on a family visa, yet I had chance and opportunity. They offered me to learn. And of course, when I work with BMW, we have a team meeting that happens in German. So I have to speak in German. It was and it was very good. Like I picked it up because it was a bit challenging, as I said in the beginning. Like I picked it up, and integration is a very, very important thing. Even though I have been coming several times to Germany, I know the ground reality here, how the taxations work, how the job market works, and everything. Yet you dwell more deeper into that, and you could confront it, the teachers or people who teach you with very straight, clear questions, and they would confront it with you very straight if they don't like certain things. It's not like chit chatting around and doing
Yeah.
things big like that. And this made me a lot more straight coming, say, from India. Like you always are not supposed to tell what you think. You are in this pressure, like you are not brought up this way. Oh, you have to respect certain people because of their hierarchies and stuff like that. Here, it's flat hierarchies, and you talk. If you don't like it, you are allowed to say,
Right.
and
Right.
look into the eyes and say very clearly. That's pretty important, and that I would say made me man up, stand up, and like certain things are pretty stable in Germany. Like I mean, we travel bit like even Spain, for example. We like Barcelona very much, but it would not be a place where we could feel that easily and comfortable.
Right.
Sun, sea, sand, beach, everything. I would always prefer to be by the beach side, but it's got its this little nuances that I don't prefer to encounter all the times. And as you were mentioning, pickpocketing and all these things, and
Yeah.
like unwanted tensions, like you need to live carefree, you can walk free.
Right. Right.
From a women's perspective, I would say for you, like we have a lot of emancipated women, and they are happily okay to do whatever they wish to. No spot bothering. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Still, I mean, say Bavaria is pretty Catholic. We have a conservative society. Still, there's a lot of migrant influx coming in. It's very sensitive, certain topics are, but I prefer it would maintain its culture. It wouldn't change just because the population is changing. The demographic should not change, or the architectural
Yeah.
sites should not change. And they have been living the sons and the daughters of the soil. They need to preserve it, irrespective of whoever comes. Like we call it Auslanders, like foreigners. In that sense, even I would become a German in a year or two, but still, I would prefer that the people who are born and brought up and like lived here for dynasties, and they need to uphold their tradition.
Yes. Yeah.
In each culture, it includes India too. I would prefer to retain my culture in my very own region where I was born and brought up and I grew up. And they need to hold on to this, not like looking something from the west or east just for the commercial purposes. Just
Right.
to, the more you hold on to your culture, it would, you could take a lot from your thing, but people forget in the name of modernization a lot.
Yeah. Oh, I'm with you. It's like I would like the original peoples of that place to honor their culture and honor their history, and that's why it makes it interesting for me to come visit. I honestly, you know, I know a lot of companies they want to expand and be global, but to be honest, and I always pick on poor Starbucks coffee, but I'd rather buy my coffee from, if I'm going to India, someone that's making it in the traditional how that beverage is served, whatever they do. I want to enjoy that. I came there to experience that. Same with Germany, whatever their some I want to enjoy some of that. I don't want it to look the same or be 100% same as I could just go down the street here in the United States. No. That
I
kind of
mean,
takes away. I mean, we want to encourage sharing of ideas, and in sharing ideas you do have to honor some of those past traditions, because if you don't, they just end up, little by little they peter away, and 20, 30 years from now nobody knows what the beginning looked like or what the traditional style of food or architecture. So there's a it's a nuanced thing, but I like that
that's
you're
one good and bad thing about internet, I would say. We look at certain things in the internet from other side of the world, and then we think, oh, we need to have an attire like that. Oh, we need to have a food like that. Oh, we need to do this
yeah.
like that. But over a period of time, we will all go back to our roots and say perhaps my kids or their kids and the grandkids and future generations to come, they would hold on to certain things. Hopefully, the internet will help because people are criticizing a lot about the internet these days, and it's about what you take from it.
Mhm.
It's got everything.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty optimistic we would go back to a lot more sustainable ways, lots more greenery ways, and a lot more healthy way of living. And now, like yoga, for example, is helping
Yes.
people worldwide. 30 years ago, I would say in the late 90s or mid 90s, it wasn't that popular in India, but now the whole world is looking towards India for this, say, at least the 10, 15 years. We have a government, even though people call it a right wing government, it's doing certain things to showcase the right way of culture,
Right.
and it's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, now it's $1 billion industry worldwide. Even in the States, more than $2 billion. It's like it provides
No.
direct and indirect job opportunities and stuff like that. Starting from buying a yoga mat and renting a studio and booking flight tickets and creating retreats and writing emails back and forth and arranging transportations. Plenty. Like, yeah, it happens. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited for you that you're thinking ahead to, going back to your tourism type background and wanting to develop small tours, things to expand beyond Munich. I think that's fabulous.
I would expand, and even if nature willing, I would even expand into the States, which is got potential market that's pretty unexplored.
Mm-hmm.
Includes the which includes the deserts of Las Vegas. Like, I don't want to do a very cliche stereotype like overcrowded tourism where a lot of tourists. Like, I wanted a tourism to sustain,
Yes.
people go regularly, and I wanted also those places not get Instagrammed. I
Right.
would say, like, not just photo, and if a celebrity comes and click a picture and then it explores more. I would prefer to keep that a base, like people comes over for years, like 20 years, 30 years repeatedly at a very particular time of the year. And that's my plan for Europe, Asia, of course, as well as in the States. It's a long way to go. We are doing baby steps, and let's see. We will be in touch, and you would see how I'm faring up.
Yeah, no, I think that's amazing. And I
Yeah.
do like that you touched on the Instagram portion of it because I think a lot of travelers, people that they see these pictures on Instagram and then like they have you, but they just want to like, well, just take me to this spot. They just want to go to those popular spots and they just want to go take their picture and not even understand like what is the building I'm looking at? Who built the building? Why is the building here? What's the history? And it's kind of a it's kind of a shame, and it also, in some cases, can damage certain areas. I mean, I've seen natural areas too, where everybody wants to go to that spot, and then over time, it's like you know, too much.
Yes, certain things I would say like now I have this experience over a little less than 2 months. I got guests coming up. Some of them were not really interested in, and they were not interested in walking or exploring. They just wanted to. It was like tiring one way for them exploring things, and they just wanted to go here and there, just click pictures and stuff. And it's okay. It's okay for me. So for me, each and every guest, I learn a lot. They were actually my masters. Actually, I'm not telling them anything. I'm just letting them talk with me. Within 3 minutes or say 30 seconds, you would feel the vibe if you believe in the vibe and how it takes over. And it's been amazing. And as I said, like at the beginning, I love people. And for me, this is a very beautiful thing. Okay, there are numbers, there are financial things, there are financial pressures, money on the thing. But on top of that, when you do things that you really love to the core, shutting everything and everybody off, if you really really like, you should not keep one foot here and one foot there. Keep both the foot firm and clear, with clear conscience and conscious. The numbers would come eventually. And
Oh yeah,
this is
exactly.
this is completely, I believe, I mean, I learned it over and over by experience, trial and error, several mistakes. And this is very normal. And speaking of also the Instagram thing, this is also one thing that I'm very conscious about. Like in my past business, the hotel, the bed and breakfast I had, and the yoga studios, this was like too much getting overcrowded, which
Oh,
is one way I would say it's a blessing in disguise that the corona happened for me personally. Even though it crashed my business, but it also made me realize you are nothing. And it's not like it, it humiliates you or something. It keeps you pretty balanced and grounded, which is pretty important. When you sometimes you don't realize where you stand, or it's a lot. Like we are just living very tiny time in this part of the world, and so it makes you realize to be humble, even though it's not easy all the time.
yes. Oh, that's a beautiful statement. I agree. It's like in hindsight too, I think corona was kind of good for the world in many respects because many people, they were, they weren't taking as much time with their family or their loved ones. And I think there was kind of a great reshift, or whatever people want to give a name to it, where it made people pause and think, do I want to keep working in the situation I'm working for? Or again, do I want to find something I'm passionate about? I still need to work and support my family, but there's a balance, of finding something I love, but yet still having time with my family, or incorporating the two. A lot of people now are finding ways to work from home or making a schedule. Like I know for you too, with a family and children, like how can I spend time with my children and actually have that relationship that's so important. I only get
It's very
one.
important that I chose this job exactly for
Yes.
that. Like I don't have to work for 100 hours in a week or 60 hours a week. I could work for 10 or 20 hours a week and have good time with them, and spend time, take them to school and kindergartens and stuff, and spend a lot more time with them outside. Go do a tour in the morning,
Yeah.
or spend time in the by the poolside or take them to the lakeside, play in the Spielplatz, we call it, like what do you call that, playground and stuff like that. So it was all like pretty balancing, you need to have certain balance, which like I was not very workaholic, which makes it like I can have my free time as well. Important, I believe, yeah.
Yeah.
Work life, call it,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah.
think it's that balance because that's same for me. It's like choosing things that and it was a good realization that what, I don't need the big, because we see people that have the fancy car or the fancy house. It's like, what, I just need a car that gets me from point A to point B, or maybe I don't even need a car depending on where I live. I can use the train or get a bicycle and work from home or find something that is enough.
Well, well said. This is very true. Even me and my wife, I was speaking with my dad today. Like he was asking, when are you coming back to India? I was telling, one of the main reasons for me to leave India was like I get pressured a lot financially, despite
Oh,
a country coming up. They judge you by what you have, what kind of hand phones you have, like a mobile phone or a car you drive, and your attire, what you wear. And I couldn't be me. I couldn't be authentic.
right,
Even I tried to be, then they would forcefully judge you. It would be a huge lie if I would say I don't care what they think. It would be not honest. So I felt like overpressure. And here in Germany, in Munich at least, I don't care. I don't care what I wear, and I don't have to force myself to be somebody which I'm really not.
right,
At the same time, it's I don't consider this as an excuse to not make money. We would make money, but at my own terms and my own sentiments and values, where you don't have to push up too hard, like just
right.
because we are in a position now, like as I said, we've been flicking the phone. So it's been a challenge. If it's like, including myself, at times we feel like, oh, if we don't achieve anything, then we are not good for anything. It's just simply we can't be just enjoying a life, just enjoying, simply trying to do the wonderful art of doing nothing.
Right. Yes.
It's not easy. It's I would simply do that. I just want it to be simple, not doing anything and stuff like that. Okay, you need to work and make a little bit money. You don't have to do too much.
Right. Exactly.
Too much doesn't, I mean, we personally don't need that much money, and it's just extra pressure and extra societal status. We have a safe house that protects from the weather
Yes.
in all the 4 seasons. Some clothes, affordable clothes, very healthy food, healthy medical conditions, insurance. That's enough. We don't
It
need
is.
the fancy
It is.
cars, and you don't have to over push yourself beyond what you are capable of. You don't have to excel. You don't have to be the number one.
No.
And it's a challenge. Like this is where I'm learning here in Germany, how not to do anything. It's not easy, even though I say this. At the same time, I'm planning for a company to start up and stuff. Yet I want this tourism to sustain, not like overcrowded. I don't want to have a big 20-digit numbers or something,
Right.
something that sustains and it helps all for people, make it more green, not like over pollute the land.
Right. Right. And it is a challenge. It's a balance of taking time to rest, taking time to slow down. It is. And yet having a business that you're proud of. And I think that we're seeing a shift, at least in the United States. I just saw some numbers over the weekend where not as many people buying things, but travel increasing, which again, that means they're seeking experiencers. They're valuing that time to explore, hopefully, versus buying just another fancy shirt or another fancy, we have too much stuff globally. So I like to see, but hopefully it's done in a way that places don't get, I mean, we're seeing it here with the national parks, too many people. So there again, it's balance. And how do you, and as a tour guide, trying to design tours and educate travelers to look for things that go to the place that's not on Instagram, go, find a guide that's not on a big cruise ship or a big bus. Do your part a little bit.
My duty is simply to dilute the people and dilute the tourism area, not like
Yeah.
a herd of sheep, everybody going to one place. You could create more, and when people pay thousands of euros to travel around and thousands of euros for a day for a trip or for a two trip, I would say bring them to off the beaten track, really, that they could come back and again, that it's a very private place for them that they could recuperate because everybody is working very hard. Like we got a lot of people having burnout syndrome.
Oh,
I mean, in Germany, worldwide, even in India, but they would not be saying it because nowadays we have been very liberal people in India coming up. I'm also from India in that way. Like we are able to talk open.
right,
It's okay to accept that when we are burned out, it's absolutely okay to say, yeah, I'm overworked, I'm really
right,
burned out. But people are not able to tell because of pressure, saying, oh, if you say this, what would my wife think? What would my husband would think, boyfriend, girlfriend, and family would think, society would think if I don't want to work. Then,
right.
oh, my neighbor is making this much money. Oh no, oh, he's got a car like this. Oh, I have to work. I have to pay the month every month installment, mortgages and stuff. It's like repetitive.
Yes,
At the end of the day, we are all gonna die one day. And
exactly. We have no control over that either. And
yeah,
no amount, and that's what I find an interesting facet is that you see some of these people that no amount of money is going to keep them at the top, being a celebrity, being a high political status. They all are human. They're going to die. So if they're not in getting time with their family, their loved ones, taking time to feed their soul, for what purpose, it's
yeah, that's the beauty of life. Like, I mean, fortunately, it didn't happen that the rich guys can be more happy. Rich guys will be alive. Maybe they're trying to live for everlasting, trying to degenerate their tissues and stuff like
right.
that. It might happen in the centuries to come, but I don't think they would be happy. They might do new brain cells, like to prevent them from Alzheimer's, dementia, whatever. Like change everything, like you change in a car, like with a historic value,
Oh yeah.
pacemakers in the heart, and put up new screws and joint bolts on the knee and kneecaps and stuff. But that's boring.
Yeah,
Just simply, yeah. I mean, I don't think it's a very good way. Like you could live for 80 year, 100 year, maybe 110. You never know, but try to leave the place for the next generation to come and keep it sustained.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think this is fabulous. So how can people right now, if they want to book a tour with you? Right now it's through City Unscripted and what?
Right now, it's only for City Unscripted. I've created a page, but I haven't got a name.
Okay.
I need a catchy name. It's like making a title for a film. If I would direct a film, if I would make
Right.
a film. So I do have certain names, but they are not very apt for Germany, and most of the guests that I'm going to cater off from the States.
Right.
So it has to be appealing to them. And I can't write a tour named the Third Reich Tour or Nazi tours and stuff like that. It's very scary. And so once the name is ready, and I would float that page, it would be on certain websites like Viator and TripAdvisor and stuff like that. And of course, eventually I had to create a web page or a separate Instagram page, which I wouldn't prefer. It's just a beginning thing, but I would update you.
Yeah,
Now,
update me.
now if
Yeah.
they wanted to book a tour with me, just my email ID and my WhatsApp number.
Okay.
That's
All
the
right.
thing I have it.
And you have how many tours on City Unscripted? Do you mainly have the night tour or do you have a couple other options for people as well?
I can do tours in and around Bavaria
Okay.
and almost all around Germany, but I do have some commitments with City Unscripted till this December. But once it's done, and I would be starting things on my own, I could do both night and day tours. I mean, customize according to their needs. That's what I would say. Like because pretty much aware about the things to show in Munich. Every day to the same guest, I could show over 7 days different places in Munich.
Oh, yeah.
Yet it wouldn't be boring to them. It would be interesting. And say, for example, nightlife photography tour,
Oh, yeah.
early morning walk tour, bird watching tour, and train tours, like different countryside tours, lake tours. So many. I mean, beer tours and culturals, and like even like e-bike tours, and plenty to offer. So just individually, I would cater to them, like what they would really wanted to know and how long they are here. And like sometimes it shouldn't be too boring. I mean, you react in a fraction of a second to always have a plan, not just plan B or C. Have infinite amount of plans just for Munich, despite being not a very big city, still like very flexible back and forth. So it'll be easier.
Yeah, and there's definitely so much to see in Munich. I know I only got to scratch the surface for one evening with Naveen, but I will share his WhatsApp information and email in the show notes. So if people want to work directly with Naveen, like he says, I mean, that's the best part of being a guide and knowing a place that you love is catering it to someone's actual interest so that you get the most out of that experience as well. Because as tour guides, we want to make you happy. We don't want to show you things that, if you don't like museums, we don't want to show you the museums or.
If you don't want to go to church, it's absolutely okay.
Right,
If you don't
right.
go to synagogues too, it's absolutely okay. I mean, that's the thing. You need to know the pulse. It's
Yes.
just like you're showing a film on live by walk, or narrating a story on walking. So that's why we call it walk the talk. And you need to all know the pulse. How do they feel? Sometimes they might be tired. They don't want to walk too much. Sometimes they might be hungry. Sometimes they might be feel cold or hot. Sometimes they might have a nature call. So you need to cater to everything and just understand without asking them one too many questions, and just feel it. Yeah, so it's a very important thing, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Naveen, for taking the time to chat with me. It was so good to connect again.
Thank
And
you. Pleasure, April. Yeah.
I hope to be back to Munich again because I really fell in love with the
Most
city.
welcome. Most welcome.
So,
And thank you for this opportunity. Yeah. And
thank
happy July 4th.
yes, thank you.